Welcome back to another thrilling episode of the iBites podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, the number 42 to my Harry Vanderspiegel, Sajin Deep. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm just waiting for that day when you don't have anything to say.
Well, I keep watching good stuff, good shows, and I get ideas. Like the one I just announced now was actually from a show that recently was uploaded with descriptive audio called Resident Alien, and good little show. It's based off a comic book from Dark Horse Comics.
Platform? Because we have a million platforms.
I think it's on. Actually, I don't know, to be honest with you. I think it's Paramount. I'm not sure. I know for me, I just go on Audio Vault and download it. It's actually, I think it's directed by a actor, Robert Duncan McNeil, who also played the character Tom Paris from Star Trek Voyager. So he kind of directs a lot of these episodes in the show, and it's kind of like a character, an alien who comes to Earth and disguises himself as a human, Harry Vanderspiegel, and becomes a doctor in a local little town. And number 42 was his pet squid. Played by Nathan Fillion, who is also known to play in he played Firefly with the actor Alan Tudyk, who plays Harry, also played in Firefly. So there's the sci-fi reference. Sorry, it's late in the evening, I'm tired. So, but yeah, anyway, so I know it's been a while. It's been a while since we last talked, man. It's over a month.
Oh, no, remember the last time I uploaded.
Yeah, well, it was like, what, February?
March,
mid-February? Yeah, it was before Valentine's, I think. Been a while.
We skipped March, no?
We skipped March, yeah. Well, work was a bit busy, so we didn't have a chance to do a lot of stuff. But
yeah, blame it on work.
But what you been up to, man?
I'm waiting for summer to,
arrive,
because I'm tired of this winter stuff.
Tell me about it. It's been weird weather, man. Between having like cold, freezing, and then all of a sudden it warms up and we're like, great. And then, it's snow comes back again after like a few weeks of nice and clear weather.
Yep. But it has melted in 2 days, within 2 days.
Yeah.
So today melted most of it. There's like a couple of spots I see on the grass. Mm-hmm. But by tomorrow, it's going to be all gone. Again.
That's good, yeah. Well, spring. It's officially spring, so it's nice and sunny outside. So hopefully it stays.
Yeah, went for a while. Quick little bike ride spin on my bike today. Didn't really go far, but just
you got your bike fixed finally?
Yeah, I fixed my bike a couple of days ago. Yeah, because my tube. Me and my brother. One time, me and my brother were actually filling it up. I took it somewhere. I had to go somewhere, and I filled it up. I didn't fill it up too tightly. Mm-hmm. It was all right, but the tire was like the back tire when I like picked up speed because I have an e-bike. When I picked up speed, the back tire was bouncing so hot. Like it was like, whoa, is this tire like falling apart? Like is the screws on properly or what? So I didn't ride it too fast. When I came back home, I showed it to my brother the next morning, and he's like, yeah, it looks fine to me. And then, all right, let's go pump it. And when I plugged in the pump, it's the one that you push with your hand, and then it has a needle. The needle one, it wasn't a digital one. It's analog.
Yeah.
And anyway, because the pump was outside too, it was showing that the pressure was only 15. 15 psi. Sorry, that tire takes 30 psi. My brother's like, keep pumping. I'm all right. Kept pumping. Obviously, I can't see the needle, so my brother has to do it. I kept pumping. Okay, it's at 30. Stop. All right. So I stopped. He bends down towards the tire to unplug it. Before when he bends down, he touches the pipe. Pop. Big loud pop, and I was in the shed too, and it was so loud. My brother was right next to us. Like, God, he like quickly, instantly, like a reaction to it was loud, right?
Yeah.
And so he quickly gets up and gets out of the shed because I was quite nice. I wasn't like right next to the tire. I was quite close to it, but both of our ears were started ringing at this here. For the next 5-10 minutes. I was completely like disorientated for a second too. I'm like, damn, that was loud.
My goodness. Jeez.
But anyway, after that, I got on YouTube. And the funny thing was, my my parents came back from India, and when he went to Canadian Tire to go pick up a tube for me, it was like $30 for one tube. And on Amazon, I was looking up, and it was two tubes for $32. So this is a lot cheaper on Amazon. But anyway, my dad's like I'm free now. Let's just go to the store, and I'll go get it from there.
Yeah.
And then when he bought it, came back, he's like, oh my God, in India, you can buy the same tube for $4.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But it's also, what, 2 million rupees or something?
2 million rupees? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man.
2 million rupees. I don't know how, I don't know the currency as
Yeah,
much
yeah.
as my brother and my dad knows. But I can quickly check for you.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. But I'm glad you got your tire fixed and everything. So nothing exciting over here. Since the last time I've had my birthday, my niece brought me out to a concert from the Ottawa Pop Orchestra, who had a Lord of the Rings concert. Because I was a bit of a fan. I'm not like a uber fan. Like I dress up like characters, but I do enjoy the music and I love movie scores. So it was nice to go there and spend some time with my goddaughter as well. And after that, hung out with a friend, and the rest of March was pretty quiet with work. Near the end, got a bit busy because it's our end of the fiscal year. Gets pretty crazy apparently. And other than that, not that much actually. Just buying stuff from Amazon and working and living and trying to avoid buying a lot of stuff on Amazon. I did buy something cool though. I was listening to Double Tap Canada a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about fingerprint scanners. And I was listening to I listened to a podcast from Sean Priest, who does Shaun of the Shed. Good podcast. It's an AMI podcast. Sean is one of the hosts from Double Tap Canada with Stephen Scott. But he did a Shaun of the Shed episode where he was talking about the fingerprint reader. And I've always was curious to play around with that. And so I ended up buying the one he had. It's an Arcanite fingerprint reader. And it was about, I think, 40 Canadian dollars. And it's a tiny little USB thing, plugs on the side of your computer. And Windows 11 already has the drivers, and you just plug it in. You go to Windows Hello settings, you go to the fingerprint area, and you just set it up. And yeah, it's like I got my fingerprint set up, and now it's nice. I can unlock my computer with my fingerprints. I don't have to use my PIN, and I can easily unplug it when I don't need it and plug in it when I need it. It works really well. So
yeah, that's cool. It takes up your port though, right? If you don't.
Yeah, it takes out one of the ports. That's the only thing. I could get like an extension USB cable. I remember my dad, I gave him one when I bought a mouse a long time ago when I still had sight, and it was a long USB cable, and at one end where the female end was, it was like this weird plastic stand that you could put on your desk, and then you could put the dongle for the mouse in that stand, so you could have like the dongle angled upwards towards you. So it would be near. So if you had like a desktop computer, you can run the cable behind your computer and then have the dongle nearby, so you wouldn't get any interference. So I kind of felt like asking him if I could have that cable back, but I think he's using it. So I just plug it into the side of my laptop when I need to. But I could always get a cable like that, plug it in, run it in front of my laptop, and just put my fingerprint on it. Or just stick it underneath my desk. That's something else I could do as well. But I don't use it all the time. But it's nice to have it there if I need it. But other than that, it's just been. You convinced me to buy smart lights.
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
For a long time, I've always wanted to get smart light bulbs for my living room, because sometimes if I'm not at home or I just want to turn the lights on, I wanted to get some. So I was looking for the Philips Hue lights, but they're $250 Canadian for 4 light bulbs and the bridge or the hub, whatever that comes with it. And you recommended the Meross, MEROSS smart light bulbs, and they were HomeKit compatible. I had tried the TP-Link's smart plugs, but they weren't HomeKit compatible. And after Googling online, the reviews were like, they were great, but apparently there was a security vulnerability. And I was like, okay, I guess I won't be using these. But then I put it away and I never got some until recently when you told me about these. And I ended up buying a pack of 4 light bulbs for, I think they came like $55 or $56 Canadian for 4 bulbs. And I said
200 something. And
instead of $250.
The nice thing with these are that they are like adaptive lighting compatible as well. So Apple added this adaptive lighting thing where if the sun is setting. Before the sun sets, you turn on the light. It's a nice daylight. It matches the skylight. And then as soon as the sun sets, it will, like the same thing on your phone, how you have night shift. It shifts the colors to yellowish. Your lights will change automatically.
But yeah, I decided to I think they're like $70 with a $14 discount or a coupon. So I bought a pack and set up. I have a pedestal lamp where I sit and a table lamp on the other side of my couch, and I put them both there and set them up. And the first light bulb I had a bit of a tricky. The first light bulb, it took me a while to find the HomeKit barcode. Thankfully, you were helpful enough to help me point out where it wasn't a light bulb. And the process was fairly easy on the Miros app. The second light bulb, though, because I had an event, I had a family gathering that day, so I only set up the one light bulb. And when I came back, I tried setting up the second one. And normally you go from the Miros app and you add it, and then you specify the model of the light bulb. You specify if it's the standard or the HomeKit version. And then with the HomeKit, I guess it opens up a part of the Home app, and it asks you to set it up with which room and all that stuff. And once I was done setting up with HomeKit, it normally would say, hey, do you want to enable this with a voice assistant? And I would say no, because it's already enabled with my with Shlomo. And then I would be back at the Miros app and I'd see the light bulb. But the second one, I didn't see the second light bulb. I just saw the first one I set up earlier that day. So I had to figure out how to wipe it. I had to reset it. I remember you told me how many times. Well, you told me you had to turn it off and on for a few times. So I did that. And then I removed it from home and I re-added again. And this time it asked me those last bits of questions and it added it to the Miros app. So I was like, all right, good, cool, we're done. So
yeah, when I first bought those lights, it was a pain. I could either use the Miros app and Alexa and whatnot. Don't go off, please don't go off. Okay, so we're good. And or use HomeKit and but anyway, they fixed with the new updates or whatever. Yeah. Now when they ship the lights, when you set it up, it actually pairs with both, which is nice. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned as well, before the update, the adaptive lighting was not there. But then when I set it up, adaptive lighting was there. So I was like, oh, I guess the version I got, the lights I got already have the update. But no, the only thing is I set up automations so I can have them turn off at 10 o'clock at night and then turn on when the sun sets. And last night I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up this morning and I noticed the lights were still on. I was like, that's weird. I set the automation to turn them off at 10 and they didn't turn off. So not the end of the world. I find automations are kind of finicky. Yeah, they don't always work sometimes. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's kind of weird. I've got automations for my HomePods to bring the volume up at a certain time in the day. And then bring them back down in the evening. And then I also set them up that when I bring the HomePod volume down at 10 o'clock, the lights go off. But then I have another one for the lights to go on at sunset. So I have a few automations set up, but at least they're HomeKit compatible. That's one thing I like because it's a bit more secure, and I can go into the. I've got the Aero router, so I'm able to actually go into the features of the Aero router and enable HomeKit compatibility, and then go into the Home app, and then I can restrict or allow certain smart devices to go just either restrict them to within my network or allow them to go outside if I want to. That's one of the reasons why I wanted HomeKit only devices, because I can have that level of control. So, but anyway, so that's pretty much, besides that, and the fingerprint reader, nothing really new around here. It's been with work, except it's end of the year, been pretty crazy. And now the new year's coming. And then we have also Monday, we have the solar eclipse coming on Monday. I don't know if you're going to be checking that out, or just make sure you don't look at the solar eclipse.
I know some people book tickets to go see it at Niagara Falls and other places because it's 100% coverage over there. And I'm like, it's like the
totality.
It's like a 4-minute thing, and they're paying so much. I know it's like a one-time thing after years. Mm-hmm. I know why they're doing it. I can understand. But first I was planning. I wasn't gonna go outside and take a look because you can't just stare up. It will burn your eyes. And I don't want to do that. And I Googled. I'm like, I'll go and I'll take a picture maybe.
Yeah.
And then I also searched, or someone was saying that don't point your phone up because that can also harm your phone sensor.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I gotta put like they were recommending using the same goggles or glasses that you'll be using to go view them.
Yeah.
Make sure you put those like that filtered on your camera lens, then take a picture. That way it doesn't mess up your camera.
No, out of curiosity, can you use your Vision Pros?
Can you use a Vision
Can the Vision
Pros?
Pro reduce the effects of the solar eclipse when you're looking straight at it?
I don't know. It's not in Canada. I really want it, but yeah, I don't know. I already got a request. If you buy if I buy it, someone wants to borrow it for a week from me.
Who's that?
Sure.
Me?
No, it's another friend.
Okay. Well, I want to borrow it first, though.
Okay, sure.
Just I can play with it. All right. Well, let's start moving here. We got quite a few things to talk about today. So we had some new software updates. I think there's been quite a few updates since February. So I think the latest one now that's really available to everybody is 17.4.1 for iOS and iPad OS. I think Apple Watch, I think it's 10.4.1, I think. Mixing up on the versions in. There's another version for the Macs, but always good idea to update because you have security patches.
I think they added new emojis and stuff.
Yeah, they always add new stuff
in
like that.
one. And I'm on 15 or 17.5, and Watch OS, they're 10.5 beta. And I just noticed that the battery, it's back. It's back how it used to be before Watch OS 10.
That's good.
Now I finished my day with 70 plus percent on my watch, even though the battery health went down to 93. And before this update, I would end the day sometimes with 40% or sometimes with 60%.
Dang.
So we're back to 70, 72.
Well, that's nothing. I think was it a couple of weeks ago, I had a work event. I had to go in person. And when I came back home, my watch was at 10%. Like at 5 o'clock, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? It's like, it normally dies at 40, 50. And it lasts like till 40, 50% when I go to bed. But that day, it's like, it was at 10%. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is this? That was strange. So.
Yeah, it depends on, again, like how many notifications you get. But I also noticed that if your heart rate is above 100, it constantly checks, because if you have high heart notifications on, and I have it set to 110 beats per minute, but if it's at 100, because it needs to make sure it's supposed to check for 10 minutes to see if your heart rate goes back down or not, it's constantly checking, and it just drains your watch's battery.
I was pretty active that day too, so that could be a cause why I was drained. Although Wednesday, I was just as active on Wednesday, and my battery was normal when I came home. It was like 50, 60% still. So it was, I think it was like 60 or 70%. So it was actually like Tuesday, for some odd reason, it didn't last the whole day, because I got home, I got my sister's house at 5 in the evening, and I got the low battery alert. I'm like, what the heck is this? I've never seen this before. And on Wednesday, again, same active day, but yet when I got back, when I left around 4 or 5 o'clock, my battery was still at 70, 75. So I was like, okay, well, that was weird. Tuesday for some odd reason, something must have triggered my watch to be drained so fast. But well, that's okay. This year, I'm probably upgrading this year to the Ultra, if they come up with a black Ultra. Oh, I want a black Ultra if they come up with one.
I know you want that.
But also, I was looking, if you get the seller model, I'm with Rogers Wireless here in Ottawa, and it's $15 extra a month for the Apple Watch tied to your plan. I'm like, what? That used to be like $10 before.
It used to be 5 or 10. 10,
right? It used to be 10. But now it's $15 a month to add your watch. Granted, I've got a pretty good cell plan at a pretty low price. So I think I'm getting like 75 or 80 gigs a month.
Did you already add it?
No, I haven't added it. My plan's usually $45 Canadian before tax.
But the watch that you currently have, is it a cellular version?
No, the one I have now is just a GPS. So I don't know. Like, I'm torn between the cellular model and the GPS. It depends on what they come out with the Ultra. I might end up getting the Ultra. I'm saving up for it, so hopefully I'll be able to get the Ultra by the time it comes out. But we'll see. It all depends what Apple releases. So, but no, talking about releases, like Apple just released also a while back ago the Apple Sports app. I don't know if you play with this or not.
Into there? I just used. I just used Siri. Oh, can you tell me the scorecard of this game, and that always worked before the sports app. But the sports app is nice. You can always, if you're a heavy sports watcher or whatever, or a tracker, you like to, keep track of that stuff. The sports app is very nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's a good app.
I play around with it a little bit, and I added a few local teams. And well, the nice thing is they have not just like hockey. They have like hockey, football, baseball. They have pretty much, and I don't know how many sports. I didn't pay attention, but they seem to have a lot of different sports, even like soccer, stuff like that. So it was kind of, you had a lot of options to choose from different teams. I just chose hockey because my grandmother was a hockey fan. Go Habs. I'm the Ottawa Senators, but my grandmother was a fan of the Montreal Canadiens, which were also known as the Habs. But no, it's a good little app. If you're really a big sports fanatic, you probably already have like Sportsnet or NHL or all the big apps. But at least for somebody who wants to have one app that covers it all, it's worth it. So. But also, let's hope they don't kill the app. But they did kill Titan, apparently. I'm trying to segues here, okay? So
project titled Titan, he means by the Apple car, is no longer a thing anymore.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Project Titan. That's a car. That's
no. I know a lot of people.
I'm assuming our audience knows about Apple. They're fanatics of Apple, so.
Yeah, I know. But last week I got a software update on our Tesla Model 3, and Elon is giving everyone who has a Tesla that is capable of full self-driving a 1 month full self-driving for free.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited.
No, apparently there is something. I was reading something yesterday that apparently because they killed Project Titan, they're working on robots.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Well, they already have a robot. They already have one robot.
Yeah, the what the heck is his name there? The one who recycles stuff, right?
Yeah, before
Liam, I think.
Liam?
Yeah, I think it's Liam. Yeah, but no, they're talking about one that actually could do chores for you, like cooking and everything. And like, I don't know how great that's gonna be, but
yeah, I know. I heard of that they have a kitchen at Apple campus somewhere. See, and
what Apple needs to do, they need to create the replicator from Star Trek. So you could replace your oven. You put this replicator where your oven goes, and you ask the computer to please. You can say, "Hey Shlomo, make me a slice of pizza." Next thing you know, you have a slice of pizza in the replicator. You just grab it, you eat it. When you're done, you put the plate back in the replicator, and you tell it to recycle, and it recycles the plate. No more cooking. No more grocery shopping. Of course, I'm like, this is like never going to happen anytime soon, but it's something to nice and fantasize about one of these days. You never know.
Well, you got your lights.
Yeah, it took me a while to get lights, but hopefully if the replicator ever shows up and it's like reasonably priced, I'm buying one. I'm like, I don't care. I hate groceries. Groceries are so expensive now with the carbon tax. It's ridiculous how much they cost. Everything costs expensive with the carbon tax now. But
this route, I think.
But anyway, so let's
Apple
move on.
Released new MacBook Airs.
Yeah, M3s.
M3.
Well, aren't like a lot of the other, like the MacBook Pros, aren't those M3s now? And
no,
is this the first Apple laptop or Apple device that has an M3 chip?
Yep.
Oh, I thought the MacBook Pros has an M3.
I think the yeah, you're right.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like.
You're right. It gave me. Okay, yeah.
I think the bigger ones, like the Mac Pro, the Mac Pros, those don't have the M3 yet, though. I think. Yeah, but the MacBook Pros, I think, have the M3.
Mac Studio, the Mac Studio, the Mac Pro, and then the Mac. What do you call it? The iMac.
Yeah, those don't have it yet, but that's okay. Yeah. But yeah, if ever interested for a new Mac, there you go, MacBook Airs. I'm looking forward for the Mac Mini M3.
Oh, by the way, if you guys were interested in that that space bluish black that they introduced with the M2 MacBook, they actually added a new coating on it that it shows less
anti-fingerprint.
Anti-fingerprint coating.
Yeah, it always attract finger. Even my Alienware laptop, I don't really know. I just keep wiping it down. So, but anything that has glossy, it's gonna attract fingerprints. For us, we don't really care because we can't see it anyway. So who cares?
Well, yeah, I know I do, but it drives me nuts sometimes, especially with darker products. Even like my brother's bed. my brother's room, everything's like dark. He prefers having his desk and his bed set is like black.
Wow.
But
Is he Batman?
is he Batman? No, and I like it to have it white. And I don't know, to me, white, because like light reflects off of it, it looks more spacious to me.
Yeah.
In the room. And I find that I see dust less, like on dark items. We just see the dust because I just see that gray stuff. And on the white you don't. But I mean, there is a good benefit with that too, because like I can wipe it down right away when I see it. But over with the white stuff, I always wait for. I mean, how many times you know how we have the charging stand for our phones, the Belkin one, the 3-in-1 tree looking thing.
Yeah.
And what happens is when I start putting my phone on the charger, all right, it's nice and grippy. By the end of the week, the thing just slides all over the place because my desk gets all dusty, my night table gets all dusty. And okay, now it's time to dust my room because this charger's just sliding all over the place.
Every week I do that. I wipe my nightstand, and I even wipe the base of the Belkin charging station just to make sure there's like no dust or crap on the bottom.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I pick it up and then wipe everything.
But it's pretty though.
It's nice.
I do.
Freedom Scientific, huh?
Well, I don't know. Well, we have the Apple keynotes, dude. We're skipping ahead. We have the Apple and Google keynotes. You brought this up, and I was like, I'll let you take the lead because I don't know what keynotes you're talking about.
Oh, because I didn't change it on my end. My bad. I know.
Make sure you change that before we upload.
Sure, I'll do that. Apple also introduced. Sorry, Apple.
Jeez.
I'm tired.
Granted, it is late. It is like we're normally recording this. Normally we record like in the afternoon, but it is like almost midnight here. So
yeah, exactly. This is the first time. And anyway, Apple introduced, and they're not introduced, but like what do you call it? Announced.
Oh, the WWDC. You mean
WWDC?
Oh, that's what you're talking about. I was like, what Apple keynote is he talking about? But I forgot.
WWDC.
Yeah, I forgot what that.
And Google has their own keynote. I can't Google. What is it called? I can't remember the name. Google.
Oh,
I/O.
Crap.
Google I/O.
Yeah, Google I/O. Yeah.
Google I/O. So Google I/O is happening a month before Apple's. Apple's in June. So the one's in May.
Okay. You think they'll the new Pixel 9s or?
No. Software.
Oh, software. Okay.
I wonder what they're going to be calling it their software this year.
It's probably going to be just Android 13. I think it's what 13 now they're going on, or 14.
I don't know, but like
I don't use Android.
Weren't they like on like Lollipop and stuff, and then they were doing some other stuff?
Yeah, they stopped that.
Oh, they stopped that. Okay.
Yeah, they stopped that. Unless if it's probably like an inline joke now, but I think most of the time when I hear tech journalists talking about new Android versions, they talk about the version and they'll say, "Oh, it's Kit Kat, or it's this, or it's cheesecake." It's just
Oreo.
Version number. Kind of like Jaws before, when Jaws had the Freedom Scientific had the Jaws what was it? Jaws version numbers. And because they mixed up the Fusion, they had Fusion, they had Zoom text. That was people could use both Jaws and Zoom text together. They switched from version numbers to the year, so that way people can know that this year of Jaws will work with this year of Zoom text. So if you have like Jaws 2024, Zoom text 2024 is going to work with Jaws 2024 when you work when you use them in tandem together. So yeah, instead of Google just decided to go from like candies, and they decided to go just to version numbers now, which I kind of like that more, because it's like, okay, that's cute, but now it's like, okay, well, you're running out of ideas for desserts and treats. Next is going to be Android pound cake and Android German chocolate cake, and it's never going to.
But I
end.
am actually quite excited this year, though, for
really?
both
For
of them.
Google?
Well, I mean, Google. They already talked about AI stuff like last year.
All AI.
I mean, I think they said over 150 times they said AI in their keynote. But with iOS 18 and other stuff, with WWDC, Apple's planning on adding a lot of AI now. I think they're going to be partnering with Google.
Yeah, Google Gemini.
Google Gemini.
Well, if they can improve Siri, I'm all for it, because no offense, and hopefully I didn't trigger my speaker. But yeah, if they can improve Shlomo's intelligence and make them even better, I'm all for it, because no offense, Shlomo they work sometimes, like most of the time they work fine. It's just that sometimes I'll ask them a question and like, oh, I can send it to your phone. I'm like, no, like, can you just give me an answer now? Like, stop sending it to my phone. Like my phone's like at the other end of the room. I don't want to wake up my phone just so you can, something you can easily tell me. But if they add,
I
Google
remember
Gemini,
how I was telling you that there was a bug going on where if you ask Siri, oh, how many hours until 4 p.m. or whatever, they fixed it finally. Before, every time you would ask that, it would say, "Oh, I'm Google. Here's what I found on the internet." I'm like, no, before it was working fine. What happened to you now? Anyway, they fixed it now.
I miss the good old days when you can ask Shlomo, "Hey, I have a dead body. Where can I bury it?" And it would give you a list of places to bury. I was like, I remember that story like a long time ago.
My science teacher loved asking that question, and it would come up with what kind of places are you looking for? Swamps, dumps, like
quarries. I was like, what? I remember it was like back when it was the iPhone 4S, and around that time when somebody had noticed this, and I asked it, and sure enough, like, oh, here's locations, quarries, and morgues. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is kind of dark, but okay, interesting.
But now she's like, well, I don't know anymore. If he asks,
she doesn't want to take a chance. I'm like, I can't answer that question anymore. So. Oh yeah, so with I'm looking forward to the WWDC and Google I/O, see what the software is like. Especially with unfortunately, I don't have an Android phone anymore, so I can't play around with the new updates. But at least with iOS 18, with hopefully the new AI stuff coming with Shlomo, I'm looking forward to that. So I'll be able, since I've got a new phone now, they can handle all that power. So it's kind of cool. And
the nice thing right now, I mean, there is some stuff already in there. Like if you ask Siri to take a screenshot of this and send it to this person, it will like compile that screenshot ready to go, and you can just send it to somebody.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
So that one already works. There are some things out there, but some of them are.
But talking about AI, another cool thing, since we're loving AI so much, last month, Freedom Scientific / Vispero released a new feature, part of their early adopter program. Sadly, those of you who you have to have JAWS 2024 in order to be able to take advantage of this feature, but it's called Picture Smart AI. If you open your JAWS menu, and I think you go under options, there is under the options menu, there's a new item called Early Adopter Program, and you click on that and it opens a window. You tab through that, and you have two checkboxes right now, one for math. I don't know what that's. I think it's mathematics. So it reads mathematics on the web a little bit better, or anywhere else. And then you have another one called Picture Smart AI, which if you enable this, you click OK. You'll get a pop-up saying you need to restart your JAWS. So if you do your JAWS key spacebar to open up the layer command and then press F4, that will shut down and restart your JAWS automatically. And that's it. Then you have the Picture Smart working. So for those of you wondering what this is, Picture Smart is a way you can OCR an image, whether it's a graphic on the web, a file, or a file, like either a file on your file explorer or your computer, or even a file in the scanner. You can trigger an OCR and it will actually scan it, and it'll give you a description of what's the image about. And with the old Picture Smart, it was okay. Like for example, if I have a nice wallpaper of my previous guide dog Leo, Yellow Lab, who is laying down in grass. Well, with the original Picture Smart, I'd be like, oh, dog laying in grass. Now with the Picture Smart AI, when you launch it, by default, the first description you get is from Google Gemini. If you go in that window that gives you the description, if you go, there's more results link. You click on that, it will go back and it'll give you the description for Google Gemini and ChatGPT. I think when you do the JAWS spacebar and you do P for Picture Smart, and before you press, let's say you have a file in your file explorer, before you press F for file, you press Shift F instead, and that will actually give you both the Gemini and ChatGPT. So it's like clicking that more results link in the initial results you get. So you can either just press the JAWS spacebar, P for Picture Smart, F for file, I think, or you have, I think, A for the scanner, C for the image on a web page, and you have other options. I'm not too sure what they are. But if you add Shift to the last letter, it'll, instead of just giving you the Google Gemini and then you having to click on the more results to get the other two, to get Gemini and ChatGPT, if you press shift, it gives you both results right away instead. So it's kind of nice, and it works a heck of a lot better than the previous
because it's
Picture
getting
Smart
information
version.
from and Gemini and ChatGPT. So,
but have you had a chance to play with it, or?
Oh yeah, it's so much better. I mean, there have been times I've received emails with images. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is just one giant image, and I can't read what the heck it says. So, and when you zoom it in, it gets blurry. So, the only method I got is to use that method, and then it like Gemini would go and actually get you the text, where ChatGPT will.
It depends. I've seen some differing results from both. Some of them are more detailed. Some of them are more they give you both, useful.
That's why, so you can get one.
Yeah, but the nice thing is also I remember if you press S at the end or W, I think S is for screenshot, and then W is the window that's in front. So you can actually, if you go to your desktop and you do the JAWS space P for Picture Smart and S for screen, it's going to actually do a OCR of your screen, of what's on your screen right now. If you do W, I think that gives you just the window that's currently in the front. And yeah, I actually like it because I've got a lot of files, pictures that I'm like, what is this picture again? Because at least you can see, I can't see nothing. So I have to rely on I was using the Picture Smart quite a bit, but now with this, with using Gemini and ChatGPT, it gives me a bit more described details about the image. And I can, oh, that's what that picture's about. Okay, cool. Because I was also fiddling on captions because I want to have, and again, I think we mentioned this before, Apple, if you're listening, please, oh please, and I doubt very much Apple's listening because we're very like small potatoes, but if they are listening by some chances, or somebody from Apple's listening, if you could please, when you're in iOS or iPadOS and you're in the Photos app and you're viewing your photos, if you have a caption saved in the file, the picture information tab, if you put a caption and you go back to your list of photos and you're using VoiceOver, have VoiceOver read the caption. So that way you can set a caption and forget it. Once you know what the picture is, you can add a caption, and then when you're swiping through your list of photos, it'll actually read the caption. But it doesn't do that. It just says photo, and it gives you and even if you put a caption, it won't necessarily read the caption.
Yeah, I know.
It was like, oh, I
think iOS 18 is gonna be the one.
I hope they do, because you'd think it'd be simple enough. Like if you're using VoiceOver and you're swiping through the photos, forget the default label you read. Just have VoiceOver read the caption you set, and that way you can go in the picture under the Photos app. You can open the picture, click on the info button at the bottom, go into the caption field, add a caption, save it, and then go back to the photo list. And then once you're there, it could just read that way. At least for some of us who use VoiceOver heavily and. Oh, because sometimes like you want to know what the picture's about, but right now if you want to read the caption, you got to turn the rotor into more details item. Then you got to swipe up or down until you land on the caption. But if they add the ability to just have the caption read out loud by default when you're swiping through the photos, one, it would be nice. You wouldn't have to go to the captions every time to read it. But two, if you're in Facebook or another app and you want to add a photo, you could actually have the caption read aloud, so you know what the heck you're pressing on when you're adding it to the app. But like I managed to sync. I managed to sync all the photos through, because I use iCloud for Windows, and I synced all my photos through to my computer. But what I did is I actually saved them to iCloud Drive, and I went to Windows, and I was looking for like an image editor, not an image editor, but a EXIF editor that you can update the information of the photo. And I posted this on Mastodon, didn't get any responses, but then I actually went to Windows and opened up the file properties, and under the Tails tab, I realized, oh, I don't need an EXIF editor. I can edit the information of the photo right in the file properties. So I did that, and then I uploaded the photos back into my phone. Now when I go through the photos, it actually reads the caption that I saved. I'm like, but yet cool. if I edit the caption and I change it, the caption goes away. I'm like, no, it's just weird. But yeah, anyways, it would be nice if.
Sounds like you've been.
Because for me, like when I have the photos on my computer, I want to know what the heck it is. Yeah. So that's why I like having a label on it, so I know. And by putting the caption, I also changed the file name to the same thing as the caption, so I knew what the heck the photo was. Instead of opening it up and running it through OCR or Picture Smart AI, I can know right away what it is.
I don't know what the heck I don't know what the heck Apple did with iOS 17 with my phone and my devices, like my Mac, I don't know about my Mac, but my iPad and my phone. For the life of me, I cannot get VoiceOver to play audio messages. I could double tap all I want, it does not play. For you guys,
It works, yeah.
or other people, I asked them, "Can you play that?" I'm like, "Yeah, they can." They said yes. So I reported it to Apple, and they come back and say, you know, they said, "Oh, I think we no, I think they said that that in the new build of iOS 17, it has been fixed." I'm like, okay, cool. I go, I check, I update. Still doesn't work for any of my devices. Now I'm gonna go try it on like my brother's phone or someone's phone to turn VoiceOver on and see, because I know there are sometimes when you open an app and you turn on VoiceOver after. Sometimes like the app doesn't like know that you have VoiceOver on, so not everything works properly. So you have to close the app and reopen it with VoiceOver on beforehand, then open the app, and then it works fine sometimes.
Okay. But
for me, it doesn't work at all.
Oh, well, that's you need to upgrade your phone. Get yourself a 15 Pro Max like me. You won't have that problem.
Maybe it's the phone thing, but I have the M2 Mac iPad Pro, so I'm like,
who knows? It's weird, but well, moving on. So next, so this is a handy little device that I want to get my hands on. So Zoom, no, not the Zoom iCloud or Zoom Cloud meeting thing. The Zoom, I don't know if it's the same company. I don't think so. But there's another company called Zoom, Zoom, who make handheld recorders. I think they also make the Zoom P4, which is like a small little interface. That was very popular a couple of years back, but this year they released new handheld recorders, the Essential series. So you have the H1E, the H4E, and the H6E. Now the bonus thing about these things is they all have 32-bit float, so you don't have to worry about your gain. You record it, and then you can go edit. I don't understand half of this stuff, so I hear that 32-bit float is great.
Awesome.
So if you're like recording something and your volume peaks, like you're not going to have that clipping or whatever, you can actually go into your DAW or your, like for example, Reaper is a digital audio workstation. You can go in there and you can fix it without like it sounds like it's pretty awesome. So
you could reduce the gain and it cleans up your audio.
But the nice thing about this is that one, the reason why I'm bringing this up is the Essential lineup has a built-in screen reader in the menu interface, which is pretty nice. They range in different prices. I think the H1 is a very bare bone basic one. I heard Dark Corner Studios had a review of all three. I think the H1 had a lot of handling noise, but then I think the H1 you can do single track, H4 you can do 4 tracks, H6 you can do 6 tracks, but you can also remove one of the mics and put an adapter to add more tracks to it if you want. Like I'm not too sure, but again, I've never had a handheld recorder, so I don't know the perks about having one.
Is this the same thing as like the Rode thing with the receiver and you have
similar? Yeah. So instead of having like you're talking about the Rode Wireless Go. But those basically, you have the
DJI. I have the DJI mic.
So that's basically what it is.
That supports 32 float too, which I really want to get my hands on too.
The Wireless Go is like you have a little box that plugs into your computer, and then you have two what do you call those bloody mics? Not lanyard, lapel mics. And they're wireless ones. It's kind of similar, but it's not. These are handheld. So you put them in your hand, and you have microphones at one end, and you can have your record button. So it's a handheld recorder.
Oh, okay. So you can't clip it to your shirt or anything.
No. It's just something you hold. You can put it on a boom arm if you want.
It looks like a walkie-talkie, no?
Kind of like that without the antenna, I think. I don't know. I've never seen one. I had a tape one before. It's basically, it fits in your palm of your hand.
I think
it's like the size of a remote.
Your Victor Stream.
Yes and no. I think it's longer, not as wide, but it's basically, it fits in your hand, and you have controls on one side, and then at the top tip you have microphones, and you can point that towards somebody and record. It records onto an SD card, I think, and you can. But the nice thing is, again, like Zoom has been known for a lot of these recorders, but this is the first one they have that has built-in screen reader that you're actually able to fully set it up and use it without having to need eyesight. So it's I want one. I don't have a need for it, but I want one anyways. I want the 4 one because it's the 6 is too much. Because the 4 you can't remove the microphones, while the 6 you can remove it and put other mics on there. But unfortunately, you can't put older microphones from other Zoom handheld recorders. You have to put the newer, of course, that make a little bit more money. So, you have to use the newer versions of the microphones that fit for that handheld, the H6E. The H4E, it doesn't have removable mics, but it has multi-track, and the H1 is a single track, and it's look, it's pretty inexpensive. I think in the US it's like $99 for the H1 and $199 for the H2 and $299 for the I'm mixing up my words here. So I think it's $99 for the H1E, $199 for the H4E, and then $299 for the H6E. That's American though. So I'm Canadian. I think I was looking at it as like $400 for the H4E on Amazon, but I'm not sure if that's the standard price or is that maybe the seller that's selling on Amazon that has the price jacked up a bit. I'm not sure, but I figured, it's eventually if I can get my hands on one, I might, because it's always a nifty thing to have a handheld recorder if you're out and about somewhere and you want to record some audio. It'd be great, but maybe someday. But yeah, anybody who is interested in handheld recorders, who is blind and wants to have one that's fully accessible, a lot of people I know are getting the H1E because it's very inexpensive and it does a pretty good job for what they need it for. For me, I'm like, I just want the H4, the one in the middle, the sweet spot. So, and unlike other people like Jonathan Mosen, I can't afford to buy everything. Some people just have all the luck; they can buy everything, and I can't. So, but anyway, so
it is real review. Well,
yeah. Well, if ever I get one, I'll play around with it. But you can't. I'm not going to do a review because a lot of people have already done reviews. Like Jonathan Mosen has done an in-depth review of the H1E, H4E, and H6E. I've heard a lot of people on Mastodon also mention that they have the H1. I think Randy is actually looking. I think he said he was looking for the H1. I'm not sure. But yeah. So anyway, so moving on.
I already did something.
Yeah, we're going back to the AI part. So those remember we had Be My Eyes added the Be My AI feature, and Ira is now joining the game with their new Access AI feature, which from what I understand it's supposed to still be free if you're using that feature. You have to go online and register for it. It's a beta right now. I've gone through the registration. I don't know about you. Have you gotten it?
I thought I did. I thought I did, but do you get a? I think I was doing it over the phone with you one time, but then I think it was asking something that I didn't have time to fill out or something. Then I never went back into it. So what's the process like?
It wasn't as straightforward as the Be My AI. Be My AI is like you tap one button. All right, you're part of the beta. You're going to be you're added to the list, and we'll let you know once you get it. And that was it. But with the Access AI
are you
Ira,
on the list now?
I've registered for it, so I'm going to be notified once it's made available to me. I haven't looked at it in a while.
You haven't gotten it yet. Okay,
no, you have to go. Like it brings you to a website. You have to register for the beta, and then they put you on the list, and eventually you'll be notified once the feature's been enabled for you. I think they're doing a slow rollout, so.
Well, yeah, because they were asking you what are you going to be using it for and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
a couple of things like that. I think I have a few questions. I don't remember what they were, but there was a couple of questions, and I know.
Yeah, because I wanted to use dictation. That's why I was talking to you on the phone. That's why I couldn't use dictation. That's why I didn't fill it out then. But I'll go back in there and see if I can get in there.
Yeah, but that was actually they announced. I think it's CSUN a couple of weeks ago, so that was kind of cool. But also other stuff on CSUN, which I actually heard interesting. So Orbit, well-known company who makes braille displays and inexpensive, they just released a new Q20 and Q40 braille displays. Now, the reason why I bring this up is the Q40 is a competition with the Mantis Q40. It's a 40-cell braille display with a QWERTY keyboard. Same with the Q20. They're both full-on QWERTY keyboards, and the Q20 has a 20-cell refreshable braille display. The Q40 has a 40-cell refreshable braille display. And yeah, the 40 is more in competition with the Mantis Q40, so it's another option. And they're more like on the affordable side. I don't know if they've announced pricing for the Orbit Q40 and Q20. I don't have a lot of details. I apologize. Again, this is late night. I'm tired, but it looks promising. Hey, more competition and breathe innovation. So let's just hope that Mantis ups their game. And I played with the Mantis before. I liked it. I wasn't crazy about the keyboard, the way it felt. But it was still fine. I haven't had one in a while, but I remember when I had mine, I had a repeating character issue where I was typing letters and certain letters would be repeated 2-3 times when I'm typing. I don't know why, but I don't know if they ever found a fix for it. But yeah, that was, that's one of the things they announced at CSUN. Something else which has gotten a lot of attention. It's a new white cane, apparently. Or so think of a smart car, self-driving smart car, that's the size of, I don't know, a smart vacuum, and you tie a stick to it, and it has 2 wheels.
That's how I was describing it to Dan when he first showed it to me. I described it as take a smart vacuum, like a automatic thing.
Yeah, and the reason why this seems interesting,
a Roomba, sorry.
Yeah, a Roomba, yeah. And the reason why I bring this up is because it was announced at CSUN. Stevie Wonder was there and he played around with one. And I know that Allison Sheridan, another podcaster I like to listen to, the Nozilla Cast podcast, check her out. She was there as well with her husband checking it out. They tested it, and so the reason why I'm interested in playing around with this is because I went to the dentist a month ago, and I know the route by heart. I've done it hundreds of times before. But when I cross a certain street, and I'm usually pretty good at crossing the street, but this time, for some odd reason, I was completely turned around and I was lost. And I thought I was in the middle of the road on the main street. And turned out I was actually, when I came back to the sidewalk, I thought I was going on the other side of the sidewalk. Turns out I came back to where I started. So that happens from time to time, even professional or those of us who have been blind for long periods of time. Some of us, that stuff happens. It's just, it's part of life. But again, I was completely turned around, and I don't know how I thought I was crossing the sidewalk properly, but somehow I hit a car while I was crossing that was stopped there. And I thought I apologized, and I think the person was kind of yelling at me, but I just kept walking. And that's when I'm like, oh, where the heck is the sidewalk? Like, when you cross the street, especially if it's one you're familiar with, that after a certain amount of seconds, you should be hitting the sidewalk on the other side. I wasn't hitting it. I was like, where the heck is and I'm like, oh crap, where am I? And I could hear the traffic, and it wasn't quite close to me, but when you get to that moment where you're panicking, you're like, you don't really think straight. So I was trying to calm down, but I managed, I managed to get back on the sidewalk, and I had a wonderful woman who helped me cross the street, which is awesome. And so when I heard about this, I'm like, this would be kind of cool to have, to be able to walk. And because what it does, I think it actually keeps an eye for the up curve and lines you up for the up curve when you're crossing the street. And I'm like, this would be cool when you're crossing like these big wide intersections where you have to cross 4 or 5 lanes. And it'd be kind of nice to have something like that keeps you straight, like a guide dog would. Because when I have my dogs, like, I always cross the street straight. Unless if I wasn't positioned properly, sometimes we'd cross diagonally across, but that was my fault. But it looks like a nice thing. I've actually emailed or added my name to the newsletter, and hopefully when the beta is released, I'm going to see if I can get my hands on one. It looks promising. I know that some people prefer the old OG stuff, like a white cane and a dog, and I can understand that fully, because dogs are a lot more cuter than a robot. And I know that people love they love, like at work, people love to come and see the dog and pet them and everything.
It's a good conversation starter sometimes.
Yeah, they never gave me attention though, but they gave the dog plenty of attention, so that made me a little bit jealous. But and the white cane never loses battery; it's always ready to go. Don't need to charge it. That's always a good thing. Well, this here, I'm guessing you'd have to charge it. But no, it looks promising. I know there's a lot of stuff, like there's a WeWalk cane. There's a lot of people trying to make devices that makes our commute or makes our getting around a lot smarter. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like a cane. I like a dog. And using your senses is at least that way. Technology, your senses won't break. Well, they might, but it's always good to rely on the basics and know your basic skills.
It's 12:30 here, so.
Yes, I know. I'm tired. But anyway, so it's something that looks interesting. I'm looking forward to hopefully get my hands on one. If it's Stevie Wonder approved, hey, who knows? But we'll see. But anyway, so now we have one last story, and this is actually one that I added it a week ago.
Went crazy over this.
Oh, heck yeah. There's an app called Voice Dream Reader, and it's been around for quite a while. I think 10, 12 years. And basically it's an app that you put on your device, and you can upload any kind of format. You can upload a Daisy book, you can upload a PDF file, EPUB, Word document, you name it, and it reads it out loud.
Documents.
You can with the I still don't like that name that they gave the voice stream scanner app.
You don't even need that app anymore. They baked it straight into the app.
Oh, great. So yeah, so what happened is some of us, including myself, had bought the app a long time ago. We paid full price, and we paid knowing that we'll have these features. We can upload any file. I can tie a Google Drive or I think iCloud even. I'm not sure if iCloud is. I think that is. But you have other cloud services. You can connect to it, and you can get your content off the cloud onto your device. You can have different voices that reads everything out loud to you. You have Bookshare you can tie into it, so you can actually get those who have Bookshare can log into their Bookshare account, get their books from there, and download it to the device and have it read out loud. So and you can change the speech. It's really great. It's a good tool. You can even put audiobooks in there if you want as well. It's a very big multi-purpose app, and everybody loves it. Well, I think it was created by Winston Chen, who was a developer originally. I think he had it for like 10 years, but then he decided to sell it to a group called Applause Group. Now, the big debate about this is that somebody who is a competitor to Voice Dream Reader, the developer of Speech Central, who noticed that in Voice Dream Reader app, there was a notification of a subscription that was going to come. I think it was like $59 American a year. And people were like, oh, but then I think we thought it was Winston who said that those who already paid for the app, do not worry. The subscription is for new people who buy the app. The people who already bought it before, we won't have to pay. You'll just be grandfathered in. All right, cool. Later on, there was in the same post on AppleViz from the developer of Speech Central, the new owners of the app Applause Group had posted something on this forum topic from Speech Central that they had posted that said, do not worry, legacy users, you guys will not have to pay. It's only for new members. Do not worry about it. And it was like, all right, cool. Because some of us were worried because when we paid for this app, we don't have to pay for a subscription. Like, I get the subscription part. It costs money to develop and to maintain an app. I get that. But for somebody who already bought it, it's like, well, it was kind of weird. But anyway, so they confirmed it. Don't worry, legacy users, you don't have to pay. Only new members will have to pay. All right, great. Fast forward to about a few weeks ago when we got notified that starting May 1st, everybody who bought the app previously and who will be buying the app from now on will be going to a subscription on May 21st. And it starts at $60, like $59 a month, a year for existing and new users. And we were like, what? We bought this app. Why? Like, again, apps cost money. I get that. I have no issues with having a subscription because and people don't like to admit, but it costs money to maintain. Development, maintaining, add new features, it costs money. I get that. But for people who already bought the app, it's like, well, why are we have, like, you're removing functionality that we paid for in good faith, and you're asking us to pay for it on a yearly subscription. And for us Canadian, I think it would be like almost $80 a year. And I'm like, I'm not paying $80. I'm sorry. Like, I don't use it enough to merit spending a subscription. If you use it a lot, great, no problem. Hey, go for it. But there's a lot of backlash. A lot of people were saying this is not fair. I know Jonathan Mosen had an interview with the developers of Applause Group, and they were saying that, it's in order to continue developing this app, we need to, we had to make a decision, and we changed our minds from before when we said that legacy members would not have to pay. We changed our mind. We realized we have to charge people, and we thought it was a decent amount, $60 a year, and they got a lot of backlash. It's like, well, like for me, back in the day when we had apps, you'd buy a box and you would buy an app and you would have it for as long as you wanted. But then if there was a new version that came out with updates, you had to buy it if you wanted to, but you still own the old app. Yes, I know. Be quiet, Mickey. I understand it now. The old way, we didn't get updates until we bought a new version. Now updates are pushed out regularly through the app stores, whether it be Google Play or the iOS App Store. And so, yeah, the model's different compared to back in the day when I used to buy software. And now, to me, it's like, I understood why they did it. I wasn't crazy about the idea, but I'm like, well, I guess I won't be using this app anymore because it's like, I don't have enough.
The thing is, when they've promised, beforehand, I know Like if there's an app that started off with a subscription, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
This one didn't start off with a subscription. It started off as a one-time charge and everything, and then they switched over to that subscription based.
Also,
but they also said that, hey, old people or old users,
but also keep in mind, once you bought the app. Yeah, once you bought the app, you had in-app purchases. If you wanted different voices, you had to pay for them. Like I think it was a couple of bucks, which was fine.
I had the voice pack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could buy all the voices voice pack. So I had 3 apps on my phone. I had Voice Stream Reader, Voice Stream Writer, and Voice Pack. And then I purchased Voice Stream Scanner. Later on, separately. But then they added that into the bundle as well later on. Mm-hmm. But it's fine.
But anyway, so fast forward to recently, I think it was an episode of Jonathan Moe's podcast recently, who after he interviewed Applause Group, he actually realized, Apple's review guidelines state very clearly that a developer cannot remove functionality from an app that people have already purchased in good faith and then put that behind a subscription. They cannot do that. Yeah, that's in Apple, and I don't know the exact area, but he did.
I did not know that.
Jonathan, it might be in this week's episode, next week's episode, when he had it on the website this weekend or yesterday, and it's with the Apple's review guidelines for developers. They are not allowed to remove functionality that we paid for in good faith and put that behind a subscription. They're not allowed to do that. That's against the guidelines. Too. That's why people were saying go to the App Store and put report this to Apple. Anyway, so all this, and with all this backlash, they just posted recently saying that, okay, we've heard the community. We are not gonna remove functionality that you guys paid for. For any additional new features will be behind a subscription, but the basic core functionality of the app that you guys paid for will remain, and you guys will still be able to keep it and use it. And the reason why is because with the subscription, they were saying that if you have any books that are in your app right now, once we switch to May 1st, then you won't be able to add new books to it. You'll be stuck with what you already uploaded before May 1st. And I think that was some people didn't like, and they're like, now with all this backlash, they decide to reverse their decision again to say, we're sorry. We decide that, again, since people have already bought it, the functionality you guys paid for will remain. You guys will not lose it as of May 1st. New features will be subscription based. And they say if you guys, if the features are, if you're interested in them, you can pay the subscription. If not, then you can still use the core functionality of the app without having to pay for it since you already bought it. And I was like, all right, cool. And that's what I added today.
Now it says support the developer, and then you can do a subscription.
Yeah, if you like to support I don't mind supporting the developer if they add features to it. I don't use the app very much, so for me, it's like if I use it on a daily basis, and I understand a lot of people use it a lot, and a lot of our friends do use it a lot, and that's fine. I
use it a lot too.
And if you use a lot, then it could be worth a subscription. But now that they've reversed and said, okay, well, if you had before, you're not going to lose it. If you want the new features, though, you're going to have to pay for it, which is fine. I understand.
I think they're working on AI voices, like really
maybe, I don't know.
High-end voices that they were planning on using. And allowing people to, and those voices would have charged the company quite a bit. That's why they were going to do the subscription based. I don't know. Again, I didn't listen to the podcast from Jonathan Mosen, but that's my thinking behind it. Is that they want to have natural voices as much as possible with AI, and that shit.
Yeah, that's fine. Like
that costs. So having that. But then now they're going to, if you want the new voices, the new AI voices, you will have to pay for a subscription. And I understand.
I think it's more fair. Like to have the basic stuff that we paid for, have that you can add files, you can read, keep the voices that we bought. And if new stuff comes down, you want it, you pay a subscription. That I can understand. That's fine. I was like, at first I was pissed off. I was like, why are you guys but I'm like, the more I listened to a lot of Double Tap, and Steven Scott was talking about it, and I was like, I don't agree with everything he said, but most of the stuff he said, that makes sense. Like they don't owe us anything. Like, if they want to charge it, they can make that decision. It costs money to develop, and I get all that, but to me, it's like, I was also on the other side, like, well, we bought the app in good faith. and now they're revoking functionality that we paid for before, and then putting that behind a subscription. I'm like, that's not right. And then when Jonathan Mosen interviewed them,
I'm actually glad that thing exists with Apple there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just with Apple, much like the other companies have the same
I think
thing,
most app stores have that ability to report an app or something. But anyways,
not to report the app, but I mean, I was talking about that if you can't change an app to a subscription based if a person already bought it before, or a user. But anyway.
So it's they reversed it now. May 1st, we won't lose functionality. I'm happy. I'm sure a lot of our friends are happy as well. I got the update today, so I was like, oh, Gray's adding sound effects. Oh, jeez. But yeah. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you want to add? I know I've been talking a lot during this whole podcast. So
no, you did good. No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I'm looking through my yeah, we did. Yeah,
okay, so
we covered everything, and it's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys have any comments, feedbacks, questions, you name it, and anything we talked about, if you want to know, if you want to, send us your comments or whatever, feel free to send us an email at ibytespodcast@gmail.com. You can call us at.
No, we can't.
Oh, the number's gone?
I opened my app last week. I forgot to tell you that because I never used the number, they have revoked my number.
Okay, so we'll
so I have a new number, but I'm gonna have to update everything. So ignore it now. Don't add it now.
I'll remove it from the show notes. But yeah, so you can reach us at ibytespodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach. Is the website still working?
Yes.
All right, you can reach us on our website at ibytes.ca. You can also follow us on X at iBytes Podcast, and we're on YouTube at iBytes. You can also find, I know about you, but you can find me on Mastodon at That Blind Canuck at dragonscave.space. Sajadeep, I don't know what your Mastodon username is, but I'm sure if you find me, you can probably find Saj. We're on there somewhere.
We're following each other, so.
Yeah, we're there somewhere. I don't use a lot of social platforms, but I occasionally will check Mastodon a little bit more than I used to check X or Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much anymore, so too many social platforms I don't have time for. So yeah, email.
A little sneak peek. I'm working on a song.
Yeah, we'll put that in the same pile as your YouTube videos that you keep promising us and you never deliver. So, but keep in mind that we do have full-time jobs, so. We don't have time to always record, and I do apologize for the delay for taking us a while to record. End of the fiscal year usually is pretty crazy for our work, so we didn't have time to record much. And we always had a hard time finding time that we could both sit down and record. Plus, sometimes I don't feel like recording, so I do apologize. But yeah, again, email us.
It's all Dan's fault.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Always blame the older guy. So yeah, again, ibytespodcast@gmail.com. You can find us at ibytes.ca on our website, or you can go to Twitter at ibytespodcast, or on YouTube at ibytes. So this was Daniel. Thank you guys for joining us. Please feel free to rate us on Apple Podcasts. Add us 5 stars, please. Or I know that we're not professionals, but we do our best. And yeah, review, star, whatever, rate us. It'd be fun. So yeah, Saj.
Yeah, have a good weekend. Or the weekend is almost gone, but whatever's left over, if I publish it to tomorrow on time. If not, have a good week.
Yeah, and be sure to keep your eyes closed when you look at the solar eclipse. Do not look straight at the solar eclipse. If
protection.
If this is published after, hope you guys are now safe and okay and had fun and didn't go too crazy. So yeah, have a good night, you guys, and we'll chat with you next month.